Missouri, we want to support you as you age. But first, you should learn a little more about us. AARP is a nonprofit organization working to help adults 50 plus in Missouri live their lives to the fullest. We advocate for over 700,000 members on important issues such as strengthening Social Security, protecting access to health care, and ensuring everyone has independence and choice as they age. AARP Missouri also offers online tools, resources, and programs you can access right from the comfort of your home. Learn how to protect yourself from fraud and scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Become an active part of AARP Missouri as a virtual volunteer. Find support while caring for a loved one through our caregiving resources. And enjoy a variety of fun virtual events that improve your health and wellness, like our exercise series, Moving It. At AARP Missouri, there's an entire community waiting for you. Learn more about us at aarp.org/mo.
Hi, everybody. I am Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I'd like to welcome you to week 3 of our Relax and Renew Yoga for All class. This class is part of AARP Missouri's Moving It Fitness series. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. The Relax and Renew Yoga for All class will run through April the 9th. And AARP Missouri is pleased to bring you this live virtual event. Please remember that this class is suitable for many levels of fitness, but you know your own limitations, so please do not go beyond what you know is right for you. If you have any concerns, please check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. Here at AARP Missouri, we work to enhance the lives of all people 50 plus and their families. We have resources and information online at aarp.org/mo. And you can find information about AARP activities and events wherever you are at aarp.org/near-you. Plus, you can learn about volunteering with AARP at aarp.org/volunteer. Our efforts to help people live their best lives include many things. Virtual options like this one for caregivers who may face some challenges with in-person events. Resources for protecting yourself against frauds and scams through online information or local shred events, and working on livable communities, which goes way beyond housing and transportation to include social participation that virtual events like this one offer. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you to use the Q&A function to ask questions as needed. And keep in mind, we'll do a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the yoga class. And speaking of yoga, I want to introduce you to our instructor, Kat Robinson. Kat has been a yoga teacher for over 20 years and has a long list of qualifications, including certified yoga therapist, integrative oncology yoga from MD Anderson Cancer Center. She's a graduate of the Yoga Teachers College and much more. Kat is passionate about yoga and sees it not as a one-size-fits-all practice, but rather something that can be individually adapted to each person. We are so pleased to have her with us today. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you, Diane, and it's great to be here today. I want to welcome all of you that have arrived today to share this with me. If you're new, I want you to work at your own level. Make sure that you are listening to your body. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. You can do this with your shoes on or off. It doesn't matter to me. Just make sure that you're comfortable while you're doing it. Today's class, we're going to be doing everything sitting in a chair. There will be no standing poses today. So if you've been kind of dreading that tree pose or some of those standing balancing poses, just let that go, because today it's going to be all about being in a chair. Because I know that sometimes caregivers don't have the opportunity to get up and do a full yoga practice with standing poses. So this way, if you're sitting with your loved one and you're caring for them, you can do these poses just sitting right where you are. If you are an experienced yoga practitioner and you want to do, for instance, the warrior poses standing, you are more than welcome to do that. Make this practice about you. This is not my practice. This is your practice. I'm just your tour guide. So make this all about you, not about me or anybody else. So with that being said, I want everybody to get their spines tall, relax the shoulders, let your shoulder blades just drop down your back. You can bring your hands onto your knees. And remember, when we are doing our yoga practice, you want it for the most part to have your knees over your ankles, your feet straight. You don't want them to turn in or turn out, but you want to just have those toes pointing straight out. This gives nice lines of energy in your body. It allows for good circulation, and it allows for what we call prana to move through the body, which is our life force energy. It can get a little deep here, but basically it's just circulating our energy and opening up everything. And we want to make sure that we don't have any kinks in our body when we do that. So just relax the shoulders, spine is tall. You're going to ground those sit bones. Now remember, we talked about the sit bones in the first class and probably in the second class. It's the two bony bones right at the base of the spine. You can pull out the fleshy part of your seat if you're having a hard time identifying them, and just kind of ground those down. So we're going to be working a little with opposition here. So I want you to pretend that you have a string coming off the crown of your head that's just pulling you up like a marionette doll. But at the same time, it's like your seat is glued to the chair. So you're lifting your waist out of your hips. Some of the poses will be flowing today and some will be held statically. So just kind of find that spot that works for you. Go ahead and take a few breaths here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And just keep that breath moving. Doing the poses for, the entire time, going deeply into the poses has no bearing on anything. But now that breath, we want to keep that breath moving. When you struggle, when we get into an awkward situation or an uncomfortable situation, we have a tendency to go and hold our breath. But when you do that, you're sending a signal to your brain that says that you're suffocating, that you're in trouble. And then you start producing all this chemical reaction in the body that is given that stress response. We want the relaxation response. So just breathe. Don't worry about how deep the poses are. Don't worry about how you look at them. Don't worry about any of that. Just do the best you can and breathe. And we're going to start on the right side. So what I would like you to do is go ahead and bring that right knee up as far as you can. And then you're going to just rotate your ankle. And it doesn't, matter which direction. We're going to do both directions. So just kind of wiggle it around, point and flex, move, spread the toes, wiggle your toes, just opening up everything. You can bring that knee up high, or you can use a block and bring your foot onto a block, or a big book if you have a big book that you can put your foot on. So if it's really hard for you to lift that knee, use that block. But just wherever you are, keep breathing. Let the hip structure relax. We hold a lot of tension in the hips. So just let that relax. And then we're going to exhale, and you're going to lower that foot back down to the floor. And we're going to do the other side. So we're going to bring the left knee up. Again, go ahead and rotate that ankle, spread the toes, just generally moving the ankle and the ankle joint and the toes around just to move some energy into our feet and get that moving. Just get that energy moving here. And just breathe. Breathe while you're doing it. You can also go ahead and close your eyes while you're holding these poses and just really feel what's going on inside of your body. And not only what's going on inside of your body, but check in with what's going on inside your mind. Is it anxious? Is it worried? Is it sad? Let's try to make it where it's got somewhat of a smile if we can. I'd like to see a big smile on it. But, again, do the best we can. We want to just relieve that stress. Go ahead and exhale, bring that foot down. And then we're going to start doing some half moons in the neck. So we're going to just kind of work everything in between here, starting with the feet and then up to the head and then everything in between. So let's go ahead and we're going to drop our chin down. toward our chest, and we're just going to bring our chin over to our right shoulder and then over to our left shoulder, and just back and forth, breathing into it, releasing the neck, opening up, going from the left side to the right side, to the left side, to the right side. So these are called half moons, and we're just half mooning the neck here. Then we're going to come back to center, and you're going to drop the head over to the right shoulder, and then over to the left shoulder, and over to the right shoulder, and over to the left shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling the entire time. So you're going to inhale to center, and exhale, drop the head over to the left. Inhale to center, drop the head over to the right. Inhale to center, over to the left. Inhale to center, over to the right. And inhale to center, over to the left. Coming back to center, we're going to take the head, we're going to turn the head to the right. So we don't want to like jet our neck out. We just want to turn the head to the right. And exhaling, turning the head to the left. Inhale to center, turn the head to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Now we're going to kind of put all of that together. So we're going to drop the head down. We're going to roll the head over to the right, roll it back over to the left, chin to chest, over to the right, to the back, over to the left, chin to chest, over to the right, and back, and over to the left. One more time, chin to chest, over to the right, to the back, and over to the left. Coming back to center. And we're just going to take our shoulders into it now. So we're going to lift the right shoulder and release. Lift the left shoulder and release. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Right shoulder and down. Left shoulder and down. Right shoulder and down. Left shoulder and down. Then we're going to turn our head to the right. You're going to bring your right hand up and you're going to place it on the crown of your head. And then you're just going to drop your head down. And you can kind of feel around on the top of your head and see if you can find any places on the back of your neck that you're feeling any tension. Once you find that place, just go ahead and stop there and breathe. And just let that neck relax. And then we're going to inhale, bring our head up, release our hand down, and we're going to do the other side. So take your head to the left, drop the chin down, bring your hand to the crown of your head. Find any places that you might be holding tension. I'm feeling it right here on me, so I'm just going to stop right here. And then just breathe. It's amazing how much the neck will release just from breathing. Now, don't press down on your head. Just let your hand lay up there. You're that pressure, and it'll start to hurt and release that hand down. So we're going to with our shoulders. Still working into the palms of the fists are going to point forward, and we're going to bring that right arm across the chest. You're going to bring the left hand up and around, and we're going to just stretch into that right shoulder, breathing into it. Trying not to cover up my microphone here. And just breathe into that shoulder. Get a little resistance going there. Hold on the pose statically, and just release. Go ahead and exhale, stretch the arms out in line with your shoulders. And we're gonna bring that left arm across. Bring that right hand up and around. Again, we're gonna stretch into that left shoulder. Opening up the shoulder, getting some blood flow in. This is another place in the body that we hold a lot of tension, is in the shoulders. I think most of you know that. I think most of you will say, hey, my shoulders are aching, I need to relax. And this will help you do that. Keep your breath moving, don't hold your breath. And exhale, release your arms out. Release your fists, wiggle the fingers, and then we're gonna bring that right arm over the left. Now, if this is hard for you to do, coming into the full eagle arms, just clasp your elbows. Another thing you can do is bring your right hand over the top of your left hand. And we can, and instead of doing this, you don't have to go into the full form, you can just do this. But wherever you're at, we're gonna inhale, lift, and exhale down. Inhale, lift, and exhale down. Let's do two more here. Inhale, lift, and exhale down. Last one. Inhaling up, exhale down. And we're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna sweep our arms out in line with our shoulders, really stretch, open up. And then we're gonna bring that left arm over the right. You can come into the full eagle arms. You can clasp your elbows, or you can bring that left hand over the right hand. And again, we're gonna inhale, lift, exhale down. Nice and slow. Inhale up and exhale down, working deeply into the shoulders. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one here. Inhale up and exhale down. Releasing your arms down. And after all of that, maybe you're feeling a little bit in your shoulders. Let's roll those shoulders back 3 times, nice and deep into the shoulders. And then once you hit 3 times, roll them forward, going deeply into the back of the shoulders and releasing out any residual tension. We're gonna bring our left, now we're gonna move down the body. So we're gonna bring our left hand to our right knee. We're gonna bring our right hand to the back of the chair or to the back of the seat of the chair, wherever it works for you. That's where I want you to find that spot, because it's not about where you put that right hand. What this is gonna be about is a twist. So we're gonna twist around to look over that right shoulder. Now, I just wanna remind everybody that if your doctor has told you, for instance, that you shouldn't do twists or you shouldn't do forward folds, then just sit this out. Don't push it. Doctors have precedence over yoga therapists and yoga teachers. So whatever your doctor has told you to do, that's what I want you to do. But just keep your breath moving wherever you're at, just keep breathing. On your next exhale, we're gonna go all the way around to the other side, taking our gaze over our left shoulder. Our right hand is on our left knee. Left hand is on the back of the chair or the seat, wherever it's comfortable. Again, keeping that breath moving. Now, one thing with the twist, sometimes in these poses, once we're in them and we take a few breaths, we might find that our body releases a little bit. If you feel like you can go deeper after a couple of breaths, we lengthen up on the inhale and we twist on the exhale. And then we're gonna go ahead and exhale, coming back around to the front, and you can go ahead and release your arms down at your side. Let your fingertips become heavy. So your joints are opening, everything is relaxing, your arms are dropping down, opening the shoulders. Keeping the breath moving. And then you can hold on to the seat of your chair, or you can hold on. I have really long arms. So for me, I can hold on to actually the legs of the chair and still have plenty of space. So again, find what works best for you. Everybody has a different body type. Everybody has a different body size. Everybody has different DNA, genetic makeups, injuries, illnesses, different things that have made your body uniquely yours. And we want to honor that. So find the place that it works for you, and then we're going to inhale that right arm up. As you exhale, you're going to extend over to the left, and then we're going to inhale, come back up to center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, back up to center. One more time. We're going to exhale over to the left and inhale back to center. This time we're going to exhale over to the left, and we're going to hold. Make sure that right sit bone is pressed down in the chair, that it's not lifting on you. And please be so careful that you don't go so far that you fall out of the chair. Remember, we want to feel better after our class. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Inhaling, coming back up to center, and very slowly as you exhale, press that arm down. Like the air is thick in your house and you've got to press your arm through it. And we're going to do the other side. So find the spot where you can hold on. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back up to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhaling back up, and this time we're going to hold. Exhale over to the right and hold here. Press down on that left sit bone. Keep your breath moving. This pose is really, really good for building up our immune system. We have a lot of lymph nodes in the armpit area and down the side of the body. When we do this, all of the blood in our arm is flowing down into that area. So it really helps to get our immune system healthy and just stretch us out. Get some space in those ribs. Inhaling, coming back up to center, and slowly exhale, release that hand down. Again, just roll those shoulders a little bit. Just find what works for you, just a couple of times each direction. And then we're going to go a little more into the waist. So we're going to go into cat-cow pose. Now, in a seated cat-cow pose, you're going to hold onto the chair, on the back of the chair, and you're going to lift through the chest. You can take your gaze up to the ceiling. Now, this is a back bend, so you're going to kind of release that lower back, taking your gaze up. As you exhale, pull that belly in, bring your hands to your knees, and fold forward. Inhale, bring the hands back behind your chair, lift through the chest. Exhale, coming forward, pulling the belly in, chin to chest. Inhale, lifting, expanding through the chest. Exhale, pull that belly in. One more time here. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, bring your belly in, chin to chest. On your inhale, we're going to come to a neutral position. And we're going to do our standing poses that we would usually do standing, but we're going to do them seated this time. So we're going to start off with just a runner's lunge. Now, runner's lunge is one of the poses that I really like. It opens up the hips, it stretches the quadricep, the tops of the thighs. It really is just good for us. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to slide your bottom over to the right side of your chair. Not so far that you're going to fall off your chair, but just to the right. Then I want you to take your right foot and you're going to bring it back behind you. And you're just going to let that leg relax. Now, if this is good for you, stay here. There's no reason to go farther, but if you want to go farther, you can stretch that leg back a little bit, drop that knee down, and I'm sure you're going to feel something in that quadricep. So just do the best you can. Find the place that it works for you. We're also opening up the top of the foot and the ankle when we do this. And if you want to get really tricky, you can bring your arms up and just breathe. But again, just find the place that works for you. On your exhale, we're going to release the arms down, and we're going to step that right foot up. Take a moment here. We're going to stay with the same side so we don't have to keep moving back and forth on our chair. We're going to stick with the same side. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring this left knee forward, and we're going to take the right foot and we're going to bring it to the side of the chair, and we're going to turn our toes out to the side. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the toes are going to point to the right. And we're going to do warrior one. So make sure that you have this knee over the ankle and this knee over the ankle, and it's not pushing forward. We're going to sweep the arms up. Keeping the breath moving. Staying with the same side here, this right side, we want to just kind of open it up. When we get done, hopefully you feel a little off kilter between the right and the left side, which is what we want until we do the left side. So hopefully you notice that opening and the difference between what's going on. On your exhale, we're going to stretch those arms out in line with your shoulder, and you're going to turn your head to the right to look over the third fingernail of your right hand. Again, keep that breath moving. Let those shoulders relax. Put a little wiggle in your arms if you need to try to get that tension out, and just stretch. We're going to come back to center. We're going to bring that right leg in, and then we're going to scoot our seat over to the left. And we're going to go ahead and bring that left foot back, coming into that runner's lunge. Now this is perfectly fine right here. You can stay right here. If you want to stretch the leg back a little farther, you can. Just find where it's working best for you. If this is good, stay here. If you want to bring your arms up, you may. And keep that breath moving. Check in with that front knee alignment. Make sure that the knee is not going past the ankle. Nice lines of energy. Bringing your arms down. You're going to take that left foot. You're going to turn it to the left. So the left knee is right over the left ankle and the toes are pointing to the left. We're going to come into warrior one. So go ahead, if you would like, sweep those arms up. Now, if there's a reason why you can't sweep your arms up, that's okay. You can bring them to your waist. You can bring them to your knee, wherever it works for you. Find that spot. There's really no wrong way to do yoga unless you're hurting yourself. And we don't want that. But if you're breathing and you're moving and you're not hurting yourself, you are doing this brilliantly. So the other stuff, if it's not, if you're feeling awkward in the poses, that will change in time. Just keep doing it. We're going to exhale, stretch those arms out. Take your gaze over the third fingernail of your left hand. Stretch out like somebody's pulling you in two different directions. I'm sure you can relate. So just really release those shoulders down. Let the shoulder blades drop down your back. Keep your breath moving. And just focus inwardly. Notice what's going on in your body. Go ahead and release your hands down. We're going to bring that left foot back to center, and you're going to come back to center on your seat. So make sure you're centered on your chair, and we're going to go ahead and come into goddess pose, or sun god, as the case may be. So, whoever you are, you can do goddess or sun god. We're going to bring that right leg out to the side and then bring that left leg out. Turn your toes out. Do the best you can. If you're really tight in your inner thighs, you may be more here. So just do the best you can. Then we're going to sweep those arms up. We're going to turn the palms up and bend the elbows. We want the elbows to be as close to being in line with your shoulders as you can possibly get them. We don't want W's. We want a goalpost. So do the best you can here. Again, if you have some reason that it's hard for you to keep your hands in the air, you can bring your hands to your waist. But keep breathing wherever you're at. And we're going to bring that left elbow down to the top of the left thigh. We're going to bring that right hand up to the ceiling, stretching up like you're trying to reach something that's just out of your grasp. So really stretch up. But again, keep your breath moving. Don't hold your breath. It's really easy to do in these poses to just and hold your breath. On your exhale, you're going to bring that right arm down. You're going to bring the elbow to the top of the right thigh. And we're going to bring that left arm straight up to the ceiling. Again, keeping the breath moving. You're probably going to get sick of hearing me saying that. But every time I don't say it, somebody says, oh, I forgot to breathe. So just keep your breath moving. And you can tune me out if you know to keep your breath moving. It's okay. It won't hurt my feelings. And we're going to exhale, bring that left elbow down. And then we're going to do triangle pose in a chair. So you're going to go ahead and bring your left hand down to the inside of your left knee. And we're going to bring that right hand to the ceiling. And then we're going to bring that right arm down. We're going to bring that right arm to the inside of the right knee. Left hand goes to the ceiling. And then go ahead and release. Go ahead and bring those legs back to center. Come up to the front of your chair. Not so far that you fall off your chair. You want to about 6 inches on the chair, maybe a little more. And some of you may not need to move up at all. But if you do need to move up, just slide up on your chair. And then we're going to bring the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. We're going to take an inhale here. Go ahead and flex that right foot. That kind of helps to protect the joints. You're going to take an inhale here, and as you exhale, bend from the hips, not from the waist, but from the hips. Take your gaze forward. Look straight ahead. Dig into that hip joint a little bit, open things up. Remember, we don't want to hurt ourselves, so only go as far as you can comfortably go. When you start feeling that stretch, that's where I want you to stop. Stop there and breathe. Your body will open up. And then we're going to inhale. You're going to bring yourself back up. And you're going to take that right leg, and we're just going to rotate it around. So you're going to rotate it out and back to center. And then we're going to go to center, out a few times, just rotating the knee around. And we're going to do the other side. So go ahead and bring that left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Go ahead and flex that foot. So you're really protecting those joints. Take an inhale here. And exhale, hinge from the hip joint, extending forward. Breathing into it. Make sure you're smiling. This is really good for us. Yoga was one of the best gifts that have ever been given to me for my health, for my state of mind, for so many things. And that's why I began teaching, because, it just helped me tremendously. And I thought, other people might want to know about this. And when I started teaching, I was the only teacher around my area for miles. But now it's really caught on, and we have lots of links in the chain, so that's really good. Go ahead and inhale, come up. Exhale, release. And we're just going to rotate that left leg around, rotating the knee, and then reverse it, go the other direction, rotating. And then go ahead and bring that left foot to the floor. We're going to go ahead and stretch our legs out in front of us. Again, you may have to move up on your chair a little bit. And we're just going to walk our hands forward. Now, I don't want you to go so far that you fall out of your chair or hurt yourself. It's a little awkward doing this. So just find a place that works for you. Take your gaze. Make sure your chair is not sliding back behind you. Keep your breath moving. Relax your jawline and your face. Relax that little space between your eyes. And then we're going to inhale, come back up, bend those knees again. And we're going to bring our legs up now. This is going to be a little bit of core work here. You're going to hold on to your chair and you're going to just stretch your legs out, and we're going to point the toes and then flex the feet back. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. One more here. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. And then we're going to drop the feet down again, and we're going to come back to the beginning. We're going to bring that right knee into our chest. And I just want you to notice, do you feel like maybe you have a little more space now as you do this? Maybe it's a little easier to lift. Maybe it's not as stiff. If you want to bring your hands behind your knee, you can. And we're going to stretch the leg out and bend the knee. Stretch the leg out and exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend the knee. One more time here. Exhale, stretch and bend the knee, releasing down. And we're going to take the other side. Let's go ahead and just bring that knee into our chest for a moment. And then you can bring your hands behind the knee. And we're going to stretch and release. Stretch and release. Stretch and release. Last one here. Stretch and release. Go ahead and lower the left foot down. I want you to bring your arms up, right arm over left, and give yourself a little hug. You can drop your head down. Release out the back of your neck. I'm trying not to get into the way of my microphone. I'm hoping that that isn't happening. But just drop your head down, release. And then we're going to switch sides. Bring the left arm over the right. Give yourself a hug. Sometimes we just need a hug, even if it's from ourselves, but we need a hug sometimes. Go ahead and drop your head down. And just take some nice deep breaths. Releasing your arms down at your side. Again, if you want to roll the shoulders again, give your body a little scan. Notice if there's any places that you're still tense, or maybe you're gripping or holding on. If there are, you might ask yourself, what are you holding on to? And give yourself permission to let go. Sometimes we just need to do that. We just need to give ourselves permission to relax. So important to do that. As caregivers, we have to be able to fill our own cup. If we can't fill our own cup, then we can't pour out of it. We can't give that care and that compassion and that love to the person we're caring for. So you got to take care of yourself first. You can bring your thumb and index finger together and just bring the backs of your hands onto your knees. Get the spine tall. You can close your eyes if you like. And I want you to just silently, or you can say it out loud if you want to, but just say something that is a positive affirmation for yourself. It can be something as simple as I am loved, or it can be more involved, whatever it is that you want to say to yourself, but make it positive. Find one positive thing to say to yourself. And then I would like to invite you to bring your awareness down to your feet and relax your feet. Relax your ankles. Relax your shins and your calves. Relax your kneecaps and the backs of your knees. Relax your thighs and the backs of your thighs. Relax your buttocks and your pelvic floor. Relax your abdomen and your lower back. Relax your chest and your upper back. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax your hands and your fingers. Relax your throat and the back of your neck. Relax your face, your jawline, your mouth. Relax your eyes and the space between your eyes. Relax your forehead and your temples. Relax your scalp and your skull. And relax the crown of your head. Just relax. Just relax. And you may slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just wiggle them, wake them up. Take a stretch if you need to stretch. Stretch up. You can interlace your fingers, stretch them up toward the ceiling, lengthening up. And I want to thank all of you for being here today and joining me for this. This has been one of the best things that I have done in a while. I'm really appreciative of this opportunity to be able to do this. I appreciate being able to provide this in areas that otherwise might not be able to have yoga. And so I would like to thank you again. And until next week, namaste.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. I feel much more bendy, much more stretchy bendy. I'm always surprised when we do these things with the yoga thing. So many of the moves that you do in yoga mirror a lot of things that I've done in physical therapy over the years for this thing or that. So it's really fun to see different applications. Now, while I'm thinking of it, everybody take a look, find the little place that says Q&A. It has a little box with a question mark in it. If you have questions for Kat, now is the time to put it in the Q&A so that I can read them off to Kat so that she can respond to those. Because if you don't do that, I'm going to ask her questions and it'll be all about what I want to know. So can you
Yeah,
put
we
something,
won't talk about annual signatures or
some of those things, you never know. So one of the things that I've always been curious about with yoga, in addition to, how often you need to do it to see benefits. I mean, I'm sure you could do it once a week and you'll see some benefits, but I don't know what's
sure.
optimal. I've got friends who do it like every day, every morning. And is it better to do it in the morning, in the evening? Is there anything, what is the optimal for the practice of yoga? And now I see more questions. So answer mine and then we'll go to the other ones.
Okay, the optimal amount of doing yoga is as often as you can. If you can do it every day, that is wonderful. But I know that sometimes that can't happen, that you just can't do it every day. So, what I recommend is if you can squeeze in a few poses throughout the day, even if you're sitting, like I said, if you're sitting with someone and you can't get up and move around, you can still do yoga. You can still do this in your chair. I don't always do a full practice every day. I would say I do a full practice, 4 or 5 days a week. But on the weekends, particularly, it's just kind of throughout the day. That's when I'm cleaning my house, when I'm doing chores. And when I'm done, that's when I want to stretch my back or stretch my legs. Gardening, we're going to be coming up on gardening season soon. Doing yoga out when you're doing yard work, you can do some stretches before you do yard work. And it is funny that, like you mentioned, a lot of this mirrors what you do in physical therapy. This also mirrors a lot what we did when we were in high school in PE. And we were doing yoga, but we really didn't know we were doing yoga. We were doing, exercises and stretches, but we really didn't. For instance, that runner's lunge. How many times do we do runner's lunge when we were, running track or doing things, and we didn't know we were doing yoga? I think a lot of people have some misconceptions about what yoga is, but it really is stuff that we've probably done our entire lives. It's just that we add that focus and breathing and we bring the mind into it. And then, of course, we get that spiritual uplift. So, again, the optimal amount of times to do yoga per week is as often as you can.
All right. So here's one that I particularly like. Paula wants to know, where are you located?
I'm in Doniphan, Missouri, which is in southeast Missouri. I have can I say the name of my studio? Can I do that?
Yeah.
I own Active Cat Yoga in Doniphan, Missouri. I've been here for 23 years. I've seen lots of people throughout the years. I've done yoga with so many people in this area. I've also taught in different areas. I taught at the Echo Bluff Ozark Mountain Yoga Conference 2 years in a row. That was pre-COVID. When COVID hit, that stopped, so we didn't get to do it anymore. That was always fun. I've taught in Sacramento. I've taught in Chicago. I've taught in Minneapolis. I've taught in St. Louis. But my home base is in Doniphan, Missouri.
Awesome. So here's a technical question from Shelley. She wants to know, what does your foot look like when when you're doing the chair version of Warrior One? Does the top of the foot face the ground or is it on its toes?
On Warrior One?
Yeah,
The Warrior One pose that we did today, the left foot, if we were doing the right side, the left foot would be pointing forward from the chair. The right foot would be pointing out to the right. So it's a little bit, the technical aspect of a chair Warrior One is a little bit different than a standing Warrior One. Standing Warrior One, we would probably have that left foot turned a little bit in just to line up the hips correctly. But in a chair, it's a little bit different. So what we did today was the left foot, if we're doing the right side, the left foot toes would point forward, the right foot toes would point out to the right. And both feet would be on the floor, on the bottoms of the feet, with the arches kind of sprung up and lifted.
All right. If that doesn't answer your question, rephrase it and put it back in the questions and we'll come back around to it. But I hope that got it. Anonymous, no questions, just thank you. My first time online. So that's great. We love it when it's your first time online. Liked it.
Glad you joined us.
Yes. Here's a good question I think that a lot of people will be looking forward for is, will future sessions include balance exercises?
I'm going to work on that for next week because I've been asked that a lot. The thing of it is, if we're working on balance, we're going to have to do standing.
Mhm.
That's really a big thing. One of the things, and I can just kind of briefly go into this a little bit. One of the things that I remind my students is we really only stand on one foot at a time. Um, we don't, if we're talking to somebody, just kind of pay attention to what you're doing. It's very rare that we have both feet planted and we have both feet just firm. Usually we kind of sway from side to side as we talk. We'll put our weight on our right foot and then we may go over to the left foot for a few minutes. And if you can take that philosophy into your balancing poses and just kind of rock your weight over to your right foot, that left foot's just kind of hanging out. It's not doing much. But when we're asked to balance, then we panic. And, but if you can take that philosophy in. Another thing that I want to remind everybody when we do balancing poses, balancing does not come from the legs. It comes from the center of our body. So pulling everything into the midline, squeezing everything in, stabilizing the pelvis really helps with balance. But we'll work on that next week. I'll work on some things this week to bring to you for next week.
And I will say, I don't remember if it was session 1 or session 2, but you did do like a little bit of tree pose, which is a balancing pose, I think, in one of those sessions. We're holding the back of the chair, but we were doing it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And tree pose is one of the best balancing poses out there. And you can do it in so many ways. And so we'll just work on that a little bit next week. So
Okay.
yeah, thank you. That's a good question. And please, let me know what you want so then I can bring it to you.
Awesome. Joanne says, thank you so much for doing this. I truly enjoyed the program. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Paula wants to know how much of a full practice are you doing for this class?
You mean time-wise or
I don't know that.
usually my full practice is an hour if I'm doing, like a studio class. The last 15 minutes are devoted strictly for relaxation. Of course, here online, we have a little bit of a time constraint. But a full practice can be 15 minutes. A full practice can be 30 minutes. So really just find what time that you can allot to that. But typically a full practice for a general yoga class would be about an hour.
Okay. And that last 15 minutes, what's the name of that? Shavasana? What is that?
Shavasana or corpse
Yes.
pose is what is, or final relaxation. We also do a pose that I would like to share with you. Maybe we can do this next week too. It's a pose called legs up the wall. In my studio classes, we do this in every class. I don't care how gentle the class is or how challenging it is. We end the class with legs up the wall and then into corpse pose. So the last 15 minutes are completely about relaxation. And so I would like to bring that legs up the wall pose to you. So we may have to do a little bit of camera adjustment to be able to bring that. But it is so good for you. And it's something that I recommend everybody do every day, whether it's in a recliner where you're just bringing your feet up, above your heart, or you can lay on a bed and bring your feet up on the headboard. But it has so many health benefits. Legs up the wall is really considered one of the most healing poses in yoga. And I recommend it every day.
Okay. Christine and I both appreciate that you remind us to inhale, exhale, because I'm the same way. I'll hold my breath and then you say to do it, and then you gotta remember to do that. Shelley wants
Sometimes
to know.
I feel like a broken record.
Yes, but for those of us who don't have the habit, that's a good reminder. Shelley wants to know, is it always best to set an intention?
You want to have good lines of energy. You want to lengthen up through the spine. This is a lot about spinal integrity. That's our conduit for our nervous system. And so when our spine is kind of collapsing down, we're not working at our optimal. We are actually kind of stifling our energy. it also, that really ages us to just kind of sit into ourselves. So we want to pull the spine up as tall as possible when we're doing our yoga practice, just to keep those lines of energy moving, open up the spine. Joseph Pilates, who was the father of the exercise program Pilates, made the statement that we're only as young as our spine is flexible. And so the spine has to be really aligned in order to um, have those electrical impulses go out to all of our organs, and do everything that it's supposed to do. And it's really hard. It's like we were talking, I think last week, it's kind of like having a kink in a hose. If you kink the hose, you're not going to get optimal water flow. Well, we kind of have the same thing with our body. If we are collapsing into ourselves, or we're not getting those good lines of energy, we're not going to get that optimal flow of energy.
Okay. Another breathing question wants to know, how important is it to breathe through your nose as opposed to exhaling through the mouth? And
if a lot of people have problems breathing through their nose. If you have had your nose broken, if you've got a deviated septum, there may be reasons why it's hard for you to breathe through the nose. It is better to do that. Breathing through your mouth, there are some breathing techniques like cleansing breaths that we inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. But typically, breathing in and out through our mouth is really not very good for us. We want to, try to breathe through the nose as much as possible. But again, if you have some reason why that is hard for you to do, it's better to breathe through the mouth than not at all, for sure.
absolutely.
It is different. We are taught to to inhale through the nose and breathe out through the mouth for most physical activity. Running, for instance, we do that. It kind of keeps our body cooled off. But in yoga, the reason why we inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose is it warms our breath, and then it warms the blood, and then everything gets a little bit more flexible and pliable. You just have to kind of gauge for yourself. If it's difficult for you to breathe through your nose, then you got to do what you got to do. But it does have lots of benefits.
Okay. Shelley, who asked about the pose a while ago, she's clarified, and I think this makes better sense. I think she was talking about runner's lunge, when you put that one foot back.
Runner's lunge. Okay, yeah, then you're on the top of your foot. But if you have a reason why you can't do that, you can bring onto your toes. I have students that have been doing yoga with me for 10, 15 years, and particularly in Warrior One, they have a hard time putting that foot flat on the floor. So they always do it when they're on their toes. So, but a runner's lunge, typically that foot would be back with the toes pointed back behind you. But if you have like a problem with your ankle or something, pay attention to that and modify it for you.
So what
Does
I'm
that
looking at
answer
you,
it?
I think it does, but just to be totally clear, the top of your foot is touching the floor and your toes are pointed backwards.
Yes. See if I can
Okay.
turn this way. Can you see it
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Dawn says, another great class. Thank you. Mary says, appreciate all the explanations. Kathleen, yes, absolutely. If you miss a session, there's a replay that you can view. You can go to aarp.org/moving it, and I'll repeat that here in a minute because it's part of my little wrap-up script that I have to say. So it'll be there, and you'll also get it in the follow-up email for after this session. Paula has a suggestion. Do downward dog for sure. Love that one, which is a fun one.
Okay.
Shelley says, thanks, I got it. Paula says, one of my shoulders will go up and down and one is less flexible. Do I put both arms in the same position or do whatever each one side can do? I bet I know the answer to that.
What each side can do. On the side that may be a little weaker or tighter, if you're going to do this on replay or do your own practice, hold that side just a breath longer. and that will help with that muscle imbalance. You know, that's actually very common. We usually have one side that is a little weaker and a little tighter than the other. I'm left-handed. I don't even know really why I have a right hand. It doesn't do anything. It can't do anything. So I'm constantly exploiting this left side because it's stronger, it's more flexible. That's really not good for us. And as we get older, that muscle imbalance can really create some issues. You know, you may have seen older people that visibly have one hip higher or one shoulder higher. It can really play havoc on our health. So we want to try to balance as much as we can with our muscles. So, but if we don't want to force, we never want to force. So if you have one shoulder that's lower than the other, honor that and just keep working with it until it opens up. And it may never open up completely like you want it, but it's just about the journey. It's about, you know, just opening it and doing the best you can with it.
Okay. Christine says, thank you so much for the class and the clarifications for our questions. Paula says, many thanks. And Diane says, we are out of time. So Kat, thank you so much for your leading us through the class today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Namaste.
And absolutely. Namaste. Thanks all of you for joining us for Relax and Renew Yoga for All. And we want to invite you to join us again next week to continue your journey of self-care. Remember to register for our upcoming sessions if you haven't already at aarp.org/movingit. And there's where you can check out previous sessions that you might have missed. And while you're there, don't forget to register for our Relax and Renew sweepstakes. Until next week, please be as good to yourself as you are to others. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Goodbye.